Yes, good afternoon. I'm so glad. I mean, good evening for me, I guess, and it's good afternoon for you guys over there on the
Mhm.
West Coast. It is cold here, by the way, on the East Coast. Just wanted to let you know that. And we had two beautiful days yesterday, and now we're back down to cold, and we had some rain. So I just want to welcome everybody to the first, we'll say First Friday. First
Mhm.
Friday, we are talking about poetry. Poetry, an expression that leaves an impression. I got that definition from the Baba Karabasi,
Yeah,
and
right. You
and I
said that.
tell you, he told us a lot of good things about poetry. So we want to continue tonight about all of our poetry, and I want to call it open mic, or uh just say whatever you're going to say, just open the open mic night. But anyway, I want to start off and talk about a poem that I'm still going to finish, but I just want to open up with this about Wosei. Wosei, living the African sacred way. Ma'at, truth, justice, and righteousness to this day. A community of peace, truth, and love, living the faith of our ancestors above. Wosei, Wosei, living the African sacred way. I know
As you
there's
said.
and I tell you, it's more to it than that, and I can't wait to finish it. And when I do,
Yeah,
I
I think you
definitely
got some more to say, but what you said is excellent
thank
and
you,
on
thank
point.
you, thank you. We're talking about a little spoken word, and anybody is free to do this, any spoken word that they want to have. I have a few things that I have a favorite of that I'm going to share with you as well tonight, and I know that Baba Kadabasi and the one and only Baba John is Jackson. Am I correct? He definitely has something for us in store. And of course, you know that Baba Karabasi is gonna definitely be on Saturday. So I'm sure he's not gonna give us a. He's only gonna give us a little taste of
Right,
what's to
right.
come. I'm sure. Am I correct?
That's correct. I'm not going to do anything that I'm going to do Saturday.
All right
You know.
now, and we're looking forward to tomorrow afternoon also. After, let's see, afternoon for you guys, or it's the evening after 6. Evening for you
It's
guys and
evening.
evening for us as well at night on the East Coast. But I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there, hanging out and hanging up and being late, hanging
And
out late.
we hope you stay. Hope you
Oh yeah,
stay.
definitely. So let's start off with, where's my girl? We were playing the juke jump, but I know she's busy. How are we doing with the with what Minister Imhotep sent you?
You ready for one?
Well, let's see. Yeah, let's hear it. Wait a minute, before we do that, Minister Imhotep, I need you to introduce who we're talking, who's going to be doing the poetry.
Okay, the next, I'm hearing a little
Echo.
feedback or echo. I'm not sure what, but our first poet is a person who calls himself an edutainer. His name is Dr. Tashaka Muhammad, and he's been on the poetry scene here in Sacramento for at least 2 or 3 decades. Oh, there he goes.
There he
Uh,
is.
you know what? So Minister Makalisi was speaking up here in Sacramento, and Tashaka was there. And Minister Makalisi, I don't know if any of you are aware, Minister Makalisi never uses profane language, and so that was part of his message that day. And Tashaka pulled me aside and he said, I went to Castlemont with Minister Makalisi, and he says he never cursed. He just didn't start that. He was like that in high school. So this is my friend, Dr. Tashaka Muhammad, and he's going to give you a poem right now. Thank you, Mama Darnisha.
Greetings. I'm here with my friend, Dr. He is an extraordinarily great spoken word artist. We have some history. When Wose first came to Sacramento, the place where we met first was in his shop there in Oak Park. We give thanks, Dr. Muhammad. What poetry are you gonna do for us today?
About the Ghana family.
Organic.
I go by the name. What I do is called edutainment, like KRS-One, using spoken words, educational entertainment. So it's kind of like another language, but it's rhythmic is how we remember, things. So back on up and give a brother room, because I got some knowledge that'll shake the room. I'm shaka like a boom, straight from the room. Proud black man from the curtain to the tomb. Now I'm naughty by nature, but refined by design, and I'm the triple OG who can kick a dope rhyme. So take your time, drop a dime, even though it costs a quarter. If you can't stand the heat, you better run for the border. That's not Taco Bell, the dope man sells, making life a living hell. Brothers stand at me from the bars of a cell. Can't you tell by the smell and the BS they sell and your friends locked up in the joint? That you being misused, your mind's abused, you playing to lose, so what's your point? Now, back in the day, around the way, I was rolling down the Shaw with a 40 in my paw, so cold I couldn't thaw. Guess who I saw? Saw myself in a mirror, and as I got nearer, it became clearer. The young brothers were trying to be like me, but what did they see when they looked at me? They saw a fool that thought he was cool, didn't know knowledge was the tool that would let me rule, like junk in the box fool that dropped out of school. Now I'm just trying to tuck and toe you for the undertaker hold you, kicking knowledge to enfold you. So don't let the brainwash mold you into less than a man or a woman. Cause some of the ladies, y'all don't understand. They think the treasure chest is under their dress. They think of what they behind. They forgot they got a mind, hoochie coochie flying. I ain't lying. And I ain't joking, smoking, and coking, cracking, smacking, and macking. Just facking, straight jacking.
All right.
All right. Like it. I like it. Nice rhythm.
In working with young people, I'm the founding father of the Birthing Project and Birthing Project USA that was started in 1988 by Catherine Hall Trujillo, 8 women and myself. Catherine was working for the state of California doing infant morbidity and mortality statistics. I was doing community health organizing and community education in another department. And she asked me if she could go with me to a clinic one day. And we went to a clinic, and I was holding a little baby. He was a premature baby named DeAndre. And she asked me, could she hold the baby? And I gave her the baby, and DeAndre died in her arms. She did not go back to the state of California that same day. She quit, and that's when the Birthing Project started. And we said we were only going to do it for 1 year. And we're now in, that was in 1988, we're now in, I think, over 100 cities and 99 countries. We've delivered over 13,000 babies. There are doulas and doula programs here that Kairos Chiaji runs. And if you're online, go to birthingprojectusa.org. And Catherine and I are just retiring from that endeavor, and we're probably going a different direction at this point.
Okay.
Excellent. That's quite an accomplishment. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. Ooh, did y'all hear all of that he said?
Mhm.
Wow, and how he made that thing flow. Oh man. Oh, that was awesome. That was off the chain. Are they still saying that?
We
That
just
was off
said
the
it.
chain.
We
Jane.
just said it.
I don't know. I'm
Some
having-
I don't
circles.
know.
No, Sugar
I
D,
just want,
it's off the heezy. It's off the heezy now.
it's off the, oh, is that, what is it
Off the
called?
heezy. The
Oh.
heezy. I don't know what a heezy is, but you should be off it.
Okay.
Or not be off it.
Okay, I another thing that we wanted to do tonight was we were going to pick somebody and we were going to ask them a question and see if they wanted to share something about themselves. So let's start off with Baba John. It would be me. Why she picking on me? But anyway, Baba John,
Somehow I knew
Tell
that.
us something about yourself.
yeah, tell us something about yourself that, well, you know what? I know that Baba Kadabasi told me, he said, let's ask them to tell them something about themselves. But I want to do that, but I want to ask some specifics, such things like, okay, what high school did you go to and what kind of person were you in high school?
Oh my. I went to Oakland High. Oh wow.
A wildcat.
Yeah, wow. Actually, they in the I'm going to go back a little further. In the 7th grade, I went to Catholic school because my elementary school teacher paid for me to go to Catholic school, and then I was in sports and all that stuff. And then when I went to regular public school in the 8th grade, I got diagnosed with the heart murmur, and they took me out of PE. So from the 8th grade all the way through high school, I wasn't involved in any sports. So I missed a lot. And so that was, yeah. So in high school, I was just studious until I got to the 11th grade. And then things took a turn.
Girls.
No.
What girls?
No.
Hey,
No.
things happen.
Yeah. No,
we all take turns. Trust me. We
Yeah,
all
I'm an
take
open
a
book. I
turn.
mean, it was drugs, and
Oh
Oh.
no,
Oh.
yeah. We all take turns though,
yeah,
regardless of what they are.
took a turn.
And
Yeah.
look at you now, though. Look at
Yeah, come along.
You found your way to the Wose community.
I said
Oh,
back to the land of the living is what I.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was something. I was just wondering. I thought maybe you were, dapper and you were real neat,
I was that.
and studious. Those are the things
I was
that
that.
I think that
I was
you
that.
were. When I first heard you and saw you, I said, I bet he was neat and everything had to be like so.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm the oldest child, so I was.
Oh yeah.
was the
Out of
one
how
who-
many
Oh, yeah.
siblings? Out of how many?
kept
How
my
many?
room clean? 6.
6. Okay.
4 sisters, 1 brother.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
And
the
you
guy
were the
who kept the
oldest.
room clean.
Yeah.
Got the good grades and all that stuff.
And you learn how to be self-sufficient and take care of yourself and
Yeah.
all of that. Cook, clean, all of that. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That is great.
Until then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I just want you guys, I picked on him because he is going to be one of our poets. And I can't wait because when he showed that tribute on Sunday, that was just wow. And then
Yes.
he's gonna do his poetry, and he said, but it's long. He said, but I got a lot. Well, he did. I'm paraphrasing, but he got a lot of spirit in that whole thing, and I just can't wait.
I bet he
So
does.
I'm going to introduce you guys to our next poet, Baba John
Oh,
Jackson.
All right.
Are you ready, or
I-
do you have to be ready?
no, I just need to pull it up.
Okay, we need to share it with you. Share your screen. Where's Miss Darnisha?
No,
Oh, okay, you cool. Okay,
I mean, no, you don't need to share my screen.
okay.
But I just
Oh,
wanna-
you need to pull it up.
I need to pull it up. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So I can, because I don't memorize. I'm not like
Oh, me either. No,
Yeah.
hey, me either.
I wish. And also, let me say that I have to speak kind of slow, because if I don't, my words might get undiscernible, and and some other issue might pop up.
No pressure. No
No
pressure. Just
No.
take your time.
Okay,
Yeah.
so and I shared this with Wolfsay once before, and it's I've done a few edits since then. But yeah, here we go. It's this one. I call it, and I should say this too. I woke up about 3 years ago, and then when I came to Wolfsay, because I had I've been writing for a long time, but I stopped doing it for a good while. And then I wanted to write something that kind of, epitomized my wokeness, I guess you could say. And so it's thoughts of an ancient African reality. With the eyes of my mind, I visualize as I recognize my connection to the Creator, and then I realize I'm a continuation of creation from the Creator's imagination, going through a re-education of historical information that's rooted and grounded in an African foundation. As I learned historical facts I had never known, I can't ignore what history has clearly shown, how the European desire for global domination destroyed a just and righteous civilization. Along with their weapons and barbaric determination, they spread pseudoscience and misinformation that caused confusion, distrust, and human frustration that intensified global divisive situations and the insanity running rampant throughout every nation. Confronting the lies I was taught and told, I was shocked by the truth that began to unfold about the true history of Africans and all that they did and how their contributions to the world were purposely hid. I had been deprived of the true knowledge of my people and myself, and that fueled an anger unlike any I had ever felt. But I had to master that emotion so I could be objective, then process this new information and reframe my perspective. The slave trade is at the root of the African Holocaust, the invasion, the genocide, and the Black lives lost. It seems both past and present makes it perfectly clear that Black lives don't matter except to the profiteer. Chancellor Williams wrote about the destruction of Black civilization, exposing hard truths about European domination. Africans had given the world the knowledge of so much. That's why Europeans work so hard to keep us out of touch. With our first frequency spirituality and our African mind, with our essential interconnection to a love divine, with the fact that we were the first people to inhabit the earth, and that Africa is the place where civilization was birthed. We know the stories of slavery and life on the plantation, the subjugation, dehumanization, and constant humiliation. Stripped of our culture, language, and spiritual belief, force-fed a religion that promised a future of relief. But it was a plan to make Africans obedient and meek, to deny their own power and make the strong weak. And as we fell under the spell of the oppressor's gospel, it made far too many of us submissive and docile. Separated from African views regarding creation, we assimilated another people's version of salvation. We were conditioned to accept ideas that make no sense, and that to question the Bible is a capital offense. Mm-hmm. There are questionable details throughout the whole Bible, and yet people still believe it to be the key to their survival. No doubt, it's a good book with valid life lessons to be learned, but claiming it's the word of God gives me cause for concern, because in truth, it's just a book we're told is divinely inspired, with actual historical accounts of what they say transpired. Too many details that don't make sense regarding the Creator. On one hand, he's a God of love, and on the other, a global exterminator. That book has been used to justify crimes against humanity. I just can't believe the Creator supports that kind of insanity. But it's statements like that that people will instantly reject. people ruled by emotion rather than intellect. And if you don't trust the Bible the same way they do, those people tend to think there's something wrong with you. I was once mesmerized by Sunday sermons and Bible teaching, enjoyed having my emotions massaged by cookie cutter preaching. But then one day I was awakened to the shocking realization of the biblical rewriting of the whole history of civilization. King James doesn't mention Africa not even one single time. That fact alone is sufficient evidence of a literary crime. So I began a journey to discover the truth about me, which began by acknowledging my African ancestry. I learned of the relationship between nature and spirituality, which in turn helped me to recognize the atrocity of religiosity. I began to see how religions are rooted in human speculation, and that even the word God is an etymological creation. It became clear it was very intentional to lead us astray from the sacred ancient knowledge of the African way. Led astray by the most heinous and devious techniques to keep us from knowing the truth we should seek. Ma'at and Nguzu Saba can renew the mind with an understanding of self that can't be defiled or denied. Love is the foundation of the African way of life, a lifestyle of peace and harmony with no room for strife. But religious invaders, armed with systems of greed and indoctrination, infected Africa and then the world with a chronic case of spiritual constipation. We assimilated the information of our oppressors' books and sermons. We accepted their conclusions about what determines the truth about the nature of our relationship to God. And now it appears their conclusions constitute spiritual fraud. Ancient Africans formed the first ideas of an unseen spiritual science, learned that nature and the unseen one are in perfect alliance. Be wise concerning who and what you let influence your believing, because not everything everyone says is meant for your well-being. Many stories have been told to define that which we cannot see. Stories that were used to pacify people's pain and misery. Stolen stories retold in ways to confuse and manipulate, to divide, conquer, and control, and make folks easier to dominate. I made the choice to embrace ancient African spirituality and the wisdom of an ancient African-centered mentality. I chose to unplug from this matrix and become more mentally awake and a lot more discerning regarding my spiritual intake. Get in tune with the spiritual frequency of the first people ever to be. Reconnect to your ancestral heritage and reclaim your identity. Acknowledge your DNA connection to the motherland of Africa, even though the only home you've ever known is right here in America. Begin a process of internalized spiritual reorganization to repair the years of cultural and spiritual fragmentation. As descendants of Africans, we must come together as one, for it's the only way to get done what we need to get done. It's time out for foolish stories that keep us divided, stories that have kept us misguided and lopsided. It's time to end over 400 years of miseducation, time to accelerate the process of cultural memory restoration. Time to rethink, rebuild, and return to our former glory. Time to stop letting others write the narrative of our story. And as we come together in unity and make a unified declaration of our ancestral connection and divine affiliation to the netters of the cosmic universe living inside of you and me, as we listen, learn, and apply Umoja, the principles of unity, there's no doubt we will become the best we that we could ever be. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo.
All right,
Ashay,
all right.
Ashay, Ashay.
Real good, John. Real good.
Oh man, that was absolutely awesome.
Thank you.
Ah,
Asante
that
Sana.
was, it was. I tell you, I know you couldn't
Yeah,
remember all of that. That was deep too. And that's what they say, deep. That was some deep stuff. I like that, John. It was
Mhm.
absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. Now
Thank you.
I wanna call on somebody else to tell a little bit about themselves. And I just need somebody to help me to say the name correctly. Baba Kalahari. How are you? You're on mute. Oh, you can't get off mute. Oh man, because I wanted to know. Let me tell you the question I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you, do you remember when you became there you go.
Hello, can you hear me?
There he is.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how long this is gonna work or if it's gonna work.
Well, let's get
Go
on
ahead.
with
What
it
was the
then.
question? What was
I
your
wanted
question?
I wanted to ask you, do you remember the first time you became conscious? Some people call it conscious, some people call it woke, some people call it, whatever. Do you remember?
Just a comment about, can you hear me? Do I need to
Yes.
put a sound up? Okay,
No,
fine.
you're fine.
Okay, the lady who wrote 1619, she said on Democracy Now! That she doesn't think it's a good idea to use the phrase woke because
Okay.
it was a term that the right introduced. What was the other part of your question?
I was just asking, do you remember when you became, what would you call it? Conscious is what I said first. But some people do call it woke, but I heard the same thing you heard, that we don't want to call it that.
With regard to oops, damn.
What
With
happened?
regard to what?
I don't know what happened. Let me
I can
find.
hear you.
We hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. All right, here we go. I don't know what happened. Anyway, back in the 70s,
Mhm.
I started listening to a lot of information off of the radio. I don't know if you remember or heard of Khalid Al Mansour on the old KDIA radio. I started listening to him. I started going to, and the first time I ever heard the word African American was with Khalid Al Mansour, not Jesse Jackson. It's just like he sort of seemed like he invented it, but Khalid Al Mansour was the first one I heard saying African Americans. But anyway, back in the 70s, when I started, because it was always more happening in Oakland than in San Francisco.
Yeah.
A little bit was happening in San Francisco, but not much, I think it was the 60s or so when the Black Panthers were around. They tried to get a place on Fillmore. I don't know if they did or not, because I didn't really keep up with them. I'd see it on the news. Sometimes I was doing something else, but mostly I was started in the 60s, really liking African history. I'm praying that I can get my memory so I can remember some of the things that I've read. When I talked to Bubba Ty, I told him that a lot of those books that people talk about at Woze, I had read, but I just don't remember them. I think the last one I read was Chancellor Williams' book, but I just don't remember them. They were good too. But it was back in the 70s. I can try to remember a poem that Dr. Wade Nobles said on KPOO. He said it came from the Hosea. When I heard him speak, I asked him about it because I had wrote it down as best I could. But I read the Hosea, the part of it I read. I didn't see the poem in there or any poems in the Hosea that Minister Imhotep had given us. So I'm not sure where it came from. Anyway, here it goes. In the evening of an African mind, a young South African Zulu stood up and said, I entered the earth as an act of will. I came to realize the promise of being of value, to realize the glory of being human. I am not alone. I have never been alone. I shall never be alone, for I am a cluster. I am father and mother. I am a cluster of the phenomena which constitute me. I am father, mother, and child. I am the past. I am the present. I am the future. I have no beginning. I have no beginning. I shall have no end. I am the circle in which mother and father merge to become me. Damn, that's all I can remember. I'm sorry. That's all I can remember. But
Absolutely wonderful. And you didn't write it and you remembered it?
Good.
That is fantastic.
in conclusion, Dr. Martin Luther King said, in the darkness, sins will be committed. The guilty one is not he who causes the darkness, is not he who commits the sin, is he who causes the darkness. Dr. Martin Luther King quoting Hugo Long. That's all I can remember. Sorry about that.
No, that was fantastic. Wasn't that fantastic?
That was excellent.
Absolutely, that was
Thank you.
excellent. Thank you.
Well
And you know
done,
what?
Kalahari.
I had no idea you were going to do a poem. I sure thank you for that. That was extra right there, you guys.
Yeah, it was.
I was just
Kalahari
messing with
should put some pen to paper and start
Yeah.
finding his own poetic voice and getting some stuff down.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to go back to one of the videos that Minister Imhotep was so nice to get us. And tell us again, Mr. Imhotep, let's go ahead and let you introduce our video.
This is Dr. Tashaka Muhammad, originally from Oakland, resides in Sacramento. If you go to his house, children always refer to it as a museum, and because he has all these varied historical pieces, and then he's also an artist too, things that he does. And so I'm not sure what the name of this poem is, but it's a good one, Dr. Tashaka Muhammad.
No sound.
Sound.
No sound. Can't hear you either, Darnisha.
Well, there's the problem. Here we go. Let's try this one more again, y'all.
Every morning like the sun, still I rise. I stand 5'6" and weigh 175. I'm kind of wide at the shoulder and narrow at the hip. And everybody tell you, I don't take no lip. Cold black, that's me. I'm not iced tea, but I'm too cold to hold. Tell you things about life, chill a toy punk soul. Working every day 9 to 5 for my money. I want to be legit. Don't take no shit to the H to the I to the T. Need education and mother wit. Now, there's a future in your past. They don't teach you that in class, that you descended from kings and queens and invented many things. And I bet you know why the cage bird thing. Now, they used to try to make me think I was a Negro. Now I'm African American. Ain't no countries by that name. Must be the snowman's game, trying to make me feel ashamed, hiding the light that feeds my flame. People down over colors. I fly my colors every day. They're on my back and in my mind. My words straight up and I don't be blind. Cold down stalking. Triple OG talking. My colors are black and I don't do crack or self-destruction runs on that track. Glorifying pimps, the PIMP. That stands for poor imitation of my people. I don't want you to be a pimp. I want you to be a gangster. Yeah, that's right. I want you to be a knowledge gangster. Education is gangster. Do you want a hangster? See, tomorrow, have joy, not sorrow. You don't have to beg, steal, or borrow. Time waits for no one, but it'll stand right still for you if you prepare today for the tomorrow things that'll come to you. You see, knowledge is a gun, and I'll use it. It's my tool and my weapon. I won't abuse it. Knowledge is a gun that always has ammunition, and when you're well supplied with it on your side, you'll succeed in your mission. So load up. Take careful aim. Don't have no shame. Be bold, cause you packing. So when you go for the goal, you can deal with soul, and your future won't be lacking. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Now you can get it if you're with it, and your game will be atrocious.
Man, I can listen to him all day.
This brother here.
He could do me all
Yeah,
day. He
the
could say
brother
that, talk to
dropped
me all day.
words.
That was just, oh man. Minister Imhotep, you outdid yourself, man. I really like that. You need to pass that on. We need to hear that again. I tell you, not tonight, but we need to hear that again. That was
You know, also,
awesome.
he has a couple of books out, and this one is called Mother Tongue Volume 1 and Mother Tongue Volume 2. This one is more for youth, and some of his poems that he recited tonight are in this one. Because he doesn't do social media, you'd have to actually go to him and buy this in person. I'll try to see if there's another way to get it so
Please
that you
do.
all can, because he's written a lot of poems, and actually, you know, the next time he comes up, I'll read his bio. So he
Okay.
has one more poem. I'll read his bio. Go ahead, Kalahari.
Do you know what age? I got some grandkids, a granddaughter about 13. And I usually try to get her some, you know, something to read. Do you think it's appropriate? You know, is it geared for, you know, teenagers or no?
Yeah, it
Okay,
is.
okay, thank you.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
interested as well,
Mhm.
but okay.
Well, I'll check with him, but I know that you know things
Yeah.
like he's not about it. All right.
Well, maybe there's more than one way to skin a cat.
That's, oh, and he had like about 6 cats, and they were all black. You know, like 2 black cats had kittens, and you know they're
There you go.
you know they're running around in front of his house.
Wow.
Though his content is like on point, but his rhythm just kind of reminds me of Rudy Ray Moore.
Doesn't it? You don't know anything about Rudy Ray Moore. Shh, don't be mentioning that man.
I think
Rudy
Kalahari
Moore.
knows him.
That's right.
I remember Rudy Ray Moore. I sure
Oh
do.
yeah, I'm sure. Oh yeah.
Remember,
Mom's Mabley, Rudy Ray
yes,
Moore.
Skillet and Leroy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember them guys.
Well, Brother John, I don't know. I don't want you to. I don't know if you will be complimented or take offense, but you remind me an awful lot of Red Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've heard that before, haven't you?
Yeah, there is a little resemblance there. It
From
certainly is.
strangers. From
Well,
strangers.
Kalahari, I hope you don't take offense, but you know, seeing you clearer now, you kind of favor Miles Davis. You know, you kind
Yeah.
of favor.
Yeah, he does. He sure does. Yeah.
Right now. You right. Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah.
Yeah.
You
I cannot play nothing.
I was getting ready to ask you. He said, I cannot play nothing.
Thank you for the compliment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lookalikes out there.
All right. That was just wonderful, wasn't it? Oh man, my heart is just, I tell you, make me want to go back in the room and write some myself.
Me too.
Ooh, write some more. Baba John, I just don't know. I am still in, ooh. All right, now let's go to somebody else. Want to know a little bit about them. All right, Jalea. Your name came up.
Mr. Jalea.
Tell us. Okay, I'd like to know, first of all, if you don't mind, and if you do mind, say, you know, okay, we ain't got to talk like that. How old are you?
13.
You're 13. Okay, I have two. I have 2 granddaughters. One's 13, one's 14, and one's about to be 14. Okay, tell me. Let me see. What's on the mind of a 13-year-old? Because I can't get anything out of my granddaughters to tell me anything. All I get is, I'll ask them the question. All I get is yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Right.
Okay, so I know you got more conversation than that. So tell me what's going on in the mind of a 13-year-old. What you want to do? What you up to? Where you going?
Mostly like hanging out with your friends.
Mhm.
Mostly like like hanging out with friends or like wanting to go a lot of places, wanting to explore, and then you change your feelings a lot. Paint your nails.
Mhm.
Um,
Those feelings change like by the minute, right?
Oh, faster than that sometimes.
I got an easier question for you. Who's your favorite first grade teacher?
Mama Darnicia.
Oh, there you go.
What a setup.
Pull a
What a
compliment out this
setup.
show.
Was that a
Shameless,
setup
I'm
or
shameless,
what?
y'all. I have no shame, no shame.
Was that a setup or
Uh,
what?
it sure was. That was an
Hey,
excellent question.
Oh,
And
that
yeah.
was an
it's good
excellent
to
question.
Mhm.
get some of that insight,
Right.
because I
And
don't
she's
have
got a
any
poem.
kids, so, and
Yeah,
of course,
yeah. I was serious. Yeah, I want to hear what else. So you like to hang out with your friends. So do
mhm.
you? How are you like this? Because my granddaughters used to be like this, and anytime that I had them to do anything, I had to take this in order for them to do this. So are you? Is that you too?
Land.
No, because she don't have a this.
She
She
doesn't have a
doesn't.
what?
She doesn't have a phone.
Doesn't have a phone, and she
No,
don't have an iPad. I mean,
no,
it doesn't matter what electronic. That's what they
no.
are.
Right.
She
Good,
don't have
Mhm.
it.
good,
She
good.
doesn't have it.
Good,
Mhm.
good, because that's the form of punishment these days.
Right.
I had a question.
Yes.
Dr. Wilson would want to know, why is she going to school?
Oh, Amos Wilson.
Good question.
Yeah. Why are you going to school?
Casually.
In addition to
Because if I don't, I'll be in trouble.
really.
Well, we do have compulsory education now, so
Yeah,
she's on pretty solid ground there.
yes.
But it's great, seeing Jalea, seeing where she's at today, because many of us in Wose remember when she was just an infant. And Mama Fania would bring her to worship services and would pass her around to all the members in the congregation. And it's very gratifying seeing her growing up into a young teenager now. So congratulations, Jasia. Just keep trying on.
Leah, are you still dancing? Have you done any
Yeah.
dancing lately?
Off and on, off and on.
Hold up. You didn't mention what? You didn't mention dancing? So what kind of dancing do you do?
Hip hop, West African cheerleading, tap.
Tap dancing
Okay.
also.
Mhm.
Man, see that? See that? All right. So how long you been doing all of that?
Tap for maybe like 3 years.
2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years.
Wow.
Okay.
Cheerleading is fairly new.
Mhm.
Okay.
West African and hip hop I've been doing for a while.
Wow. Man. We're gonna have to see
All
what you
right.
can do eventually, right?
Mhm.
No time,
Yeah,
like,
girl, I bet you throw down. I bet you throw down.
no time like the
Right.
present.
Say what now?
No time like the present.
No, say no time.
Yeah.
This is
Well, we need a little
poetry. This is
preparation.
poetry. We're gonna do dance
Right.
another time. We'll do dance. I'm
Right.
letting you off the hook, Jalea. We're gonna
Right.
do dance another time.
Mhm. She did have a poem she wanted to read.
Oh, excellent.
Tell
Say
me.
what now? What did you say?
She had a poem she wanted to read.
Oh, thank you. Another surprise. Go ahead. Let me mute myself. Hold on.
It's No Images by William Warrington. She does not know her beauty. She thinks her brown skin has no glory. If she could dance naked under a palm tree and see her image in the river, she would know. There are no palm trees on the street. The dishwasher gives back no images.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. That's one of my favorite poems, Jalea.
Oh, really? Oh.
It really is. Warren
I
Cooney,
just wanted,
No
I just wanted to,
Images.
oh, it's upside, it's
Oh
reversed.
yeah.
It's from the book Hip Hop Speaks to Children, and it's edited by Nikki Giovanni.
Oh
And
man.
there's a CD that goes along with it. It's a really nice
Wow.
CD.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's
That poem has
phenomenal.
been reproduced in so many anthologies, and it still lives
Yeah.
because
Right.
it's such a pointed a piece of poetry,
Mhm.
and he doesn't use a lot of lines, but
Mm-mm.
you know exactly what he's saying.
That's all, girl. I was mad. I'm sorry, guys. I got somebody on the other end trying to eat. My daughter's trying to eat. Anyway, that was absolutely. And speaking of Nikki Giovanni, I am. What am I doing? I'm looking for my glasses. You see my real glasses? Oh, here they are. Speaking about Nikki Giovanni, I every now and then, me and my sorority sisters would get together, and we would have a reunion. And I've been in sorority over 40. It's coming up my 44th year. But anyway, we did a little skit by using Nikki Giovanni's ego tripping.
Mhm.
And it says ego tripping. There may be a reason why. I was born in the Congo. I walked to the Fertile Crescent and built the Sphinx. I designed a pyramid so tough that a star that only glows every 100 years falls into the center, giving divine perfect light. I am bad. I sat on the throne drinking nectar with Allah. I got hot and sent an ice age to Europe to cool my thirst. My oldest daughter is Nefertiti. The tears from my birth pains created the Nile. I am a beautiful woman. I gazed on the forest and burned out the Sahara Desert with a packet of goat's meat and a change of clothes. I crossed it in 2 hours. I am a gazelle so swift, you can't catch me. For a birthday present when he was 3, I gave my son Hannibal an elephant. He gave me Rome for Mother's Day. My strength flows ever on. My son Noah built new ark, and I stood proudly at the helm as we sailed on the soft summer day. I turned myself into myself and was Jesus. Men intone my loving name. All praises, all praises. I am the one who would save, who would save. I sowed diamonds in my backyard. My bowels delivered uranium. The fillings from my fingernails are semi-precious jewels. On a trip north, I caught a cold and blew my nose, giving oil to the Arab world. I am so hip, even my errors are correct. I sailed west to reach east and had to round the earth as I went. The hair from my head thinned and gold was laid across 3 continents. I am so perfect, so divine, so ethereal, so surreal, I cannot be comprehended except by my permission. I mean, I can fly like a bird in the sky. All right, that was Nikki.
Wonderful.
It was Nikki, and I looked her up, and there was some other things about Nikki. It said Nikki Giovanni, a poet, a civil rights activist. It said this poem is about how Nikki Giovanni speaks of her origin resembling as a female god for those who admire her remarkable strength and power to embrace the culture she holds. She expresses her power throughout the poem without the support of with the support of feminist statements. But this is something that I read about her. I was sort of curious when I read the part about a female god instead of saying goddess, but that was just my stuff. But anyway, Nikki Giovanni, isn't that something that I had that, Jalea,
It
and you
really
had
is.
yours? That was just absolutely was supposed to happen. Now, without any further ado, I'd like to bring on someone to say a little bit about themselves, and that is Baba Karabasi. Let's see what
Oh,
question I want to ask you. Let me ask
okay.
you
All right.
about your beard. How long? How long have you been growing it, and you keep it so neat and groomed? So so just tell us about what made you even want to do that. It's
Yeah.
it's fine. If it's okay with your wife, it's fine with me. It's fine with us. But anyway,
Yeah, it was a situation where I could no longer grow hair on the top of my head. And we were in the midst of the pandemic, and housebound, and every time we went out, we had on masks and what have you, and very isolationist, so wasn't having a lot of interaction with people. And so I just thought, one day when I wasn't shaving, I'm just not going to shave this anymore as long as I'm wearing this mask, and just let it grow. But then when it started to grow, it started to demand a certain amount of attention and maintenance, that I hadn't really thought much about. And so, yeah, it's so white, so it doesn't have any moisture left in it. And so like now when it's out in the air, it gets really dry. So, I have to put conditioner on it, and some kind of a light oil on it, just so it retains some moisture. And I had said that once we were no longer wearing masks, that I was going to shave it off. So maybe by the end of the year, it might be coming off. And the wife's fine with it. She prefers it braided and tucked.
We haven't seen that look yet, you guys. We're looking forward to that. Seeing how that looks. But anyway, so long as wifey is happy, guess what?
Yeah.
You good.
Thank
So
you.
you have something to say to us this afternoon?
Could I just ask the brother, how you get your skin so smooth? Your skin.
Well, I think I inherited pretty good skin from my mother. I take a lot of my my appearance from her, and I try to take care of my skin, washing it, and I use shea butter on it, and the rest of it is just genetics. I don't abuse my my skin. I usually wear a cover, and I wash my face a couple of times a day. That's about it. But thank you for the inquiry. I had so much information on Sunday, not Sunday, but this past Wednesday, around poetry, but obviously time just didn't allow for it with the lineup that we had. One of the poems that I wanted to share tonight, and I'm not going to read the entire poem because it's very long. It's about 4.5 pages. And it's an ancient poem. And I think it's a poem that gives us great insights into the thinking, into the mentality of the ancients at that time. Some of you may have heard it before. It's called The Hymn to the Sun, or The Hymn to the Aten. And it is believed to have been written by Pharaoh Akhenaten. He was an 18 dynastic pharaoh, somewhat controversial for the time that he lived, but a very intriguing and interesting figure. Was a very gentle pharaoh, and he kind of stands in the center of a lot of Christianity, a lot of issues around Christianity. A lot of Christians want to attribute monotheism to Akhenaten, but that's not true. Akhenaten wasn't the first one to speak on monotheism, but the English, that's what they want to push. But he was a gentle guy and very controversial in a lot of ways. Kind of fell out of favor in the latter part of his tenure. But now to the poem. Beautiful you rise upon the horizon of heaven, O living sun. You have existed since the beginning of things. The whole world is filled with your loveliness. You are the God Ra, and you have brought every land under your yoke. Bound them in with the force of your love. You are far away, yet your beams flow down upon the earth. You shine upon the faces of men, and no one is able to fathom the mystery of your coming. When you sleep in the west, beneath the horizon, the earth is plunged in shadow that resembles the shadow of death. Then men sleep in their dwellings, their heads muffled, their nostrils blocked, and no one gaze encounters that of his fellow. Then robbers steal into the houses and fetch the valuables from beneath pillows and creep away undetected. The lion pads forth from his lair, and poisonous creatures bear their fangs. Oh, how dark it is. And what a brooding silence falls upon the world when the maker of all things slumbers in the west. But when the dawn comes and you glitter on the horizon, when day breaks, you chase away the black shades, the two lands awake and rejoicing. Men rise up and stand up on their feet with their arms stretched wide to hail your emergence. The whole world then begins to go about its business. The cattle champ their fodder contently. Trees and plants open their leaves. And birds forsake their nests, spreading their wings in adoration of your soul. The young ghosts bound upwards, and everything that flies and flaps its wings take on a new lease of life when you smile upon it. Boats are able to sail up and down the great river. The light illuminates the highways and byways. The very fish in the water cavort before you, and your beams track to the very depths of the ocean. You nourish the germ in a woman's womb, and from the seed make man. Guarding the child in his mother's womb, calming and soothing its tears, you nurse and feed it before it is born. You breathe life into the creatures you fashion. On the day when the child leaves the womb, you open its mouth and minister to its needs. The chick inside the egg squeaks in its shell, for you reach it and bestow upon it your breath in order to make it live. You give the tender chick strength to free itself and to come crowing from the egg, standing immediately upon his feet. And I'm going to stop right there because, like I said, it's a couple of more pages, and it kind of continues on in that vein. But what I find intriguing and fascinating about that poem is the depth and understanding that Akhenaten had about nature and living things. You know, he knew about the egg and the sperm. He knew about the sun's depth into the ocean. And that's a very significant point because it is the sun's penetration of the ocean that creates plankton. And plankton is at the bottom of the food chain. They're little, very tiny plant-like creatures that develop within the ocean, and they becomes a building block for other creatures. Small fish feed on the plankton, and then other larger fish feed on that fish, and it goes right up the chain to the sharks and to the whales. And you know, and how the creator knew of the baby in the womb. Very intellectual, knowing, insightful knowledge coming from the 18th dynasty. The Minister Imhotep can help me out, but we're probably talking somewhere through 2024 BC, maybe a little less, but a very ancient times. And he had that sophistication, he had that knowledge and that understanding, that training, that he was able to translate it in a poetic form into a poem. And as I was saying on Wednesday, poetry has been around a long time. And so that's called the hymn to Aten. I hope that you enjoyed it and that it's inspiration to maybe to read the whole thing. I have it in a book that I've had for a long time. It's called 3,000 Years of Black Poetry, and it's from all parts of the world, and it's some very intriguing and interesting poetry in here, from Africa, throughout Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, right on into African Americans with Claude McKay and Nikki Giovanni and some other Langston Hughes, all through that Renaissance period. It's all in this book. It's an anthology. It's a compilation of the works of so many different writers and authors, and it's one of my most valuable books. I bought it used, but I've had it for a number of years, and it's it's still holding up. I often refer to it, and I always get inspiration when I read that hymn to Aten by Akhenaten.
Thank you so much for sharing.
When Brother Kalabasi was talking about the trees, Dr. Clark said that before the African would cut down a tree, they would pray in front of it first.
Yes, yeah, they believed it had a spirit.
It probably did. It's a living thing, when you think about, and we take that so lightly when we see trees and grass, even, that it is a living thing,
I think it's because we've been desensitized to nature because of the exploitation of nature by the capitalist system that we live under.
I think about that, the beginning, the first people on the planet. I think about that a lot. Using my imagination, and I just, can you just imagine what it was like for the first people, to just start noticing these things.
Right, exactly.
And wait a minute, what is that? How did that? Oh, wait a minute. And they didn't have none of what we have, none of the distractions that we have.
No,
true.
They're just sitting there, just checking this stuff out, man, and just learning and growing and understanding and making sense of this life that they, where did I come from?
Right.
I'm just in awe when I think about that stuff.
And most of that, John, goes back to Africa.
Yeah,
it's where most of where all that started. And
that's what I'm talking about. The first Africans, the first people. Yeah.
And I'm convinced that poetry literally had its beginning in Africa, amongst the griots and the jolly men. I'm convinced of it, because all of the aspects of poetry was developed among these griots. The rhythmic pattern of speaking, sometimes singing or humming or reciting something to get to a point. As poets, we write, and when you memorize it, you go with the flow of the poem. One stanza leads you into another stanza, and you can easily see how that type of memorization technique would have been absolutely imperative to remember the long narratives and litanies of recitations and songs that these griots had to know. They had to know as much as 4 generations. They had to know the name of everybody in the village and what that name meant. I mean, I have a tremendous amount of admiration for these guys because of the ability to be able to do that and perform on that level. And you know, the notion of metaphors is believed to have come into existence around this same thing, because oftentimes a griot may not want to speak directly to the issue before them. It could be possibly embarrassing to others who may be in the listening audience. And so they conceptualize these metaphors that they could ingest where only certain individuals would really know by the use of that metaphor. And so all these elements of poetry was developed right there amongst these griots. And so I have no problem saying that they created this genre.
Yeah, I agree. I still think everything came out of Africa because we are a great people. We are smart people. We are just excellent people, and everything we do is excellent. And because of society, especially here in the United States, they just don't know the way that they treat us drives us to excellence anyway, because we have to be the better. Yeah, it is in us, but it even brings it even out more. We shine even more, you know, regardless of what we get involved with. We master that thing.
And that concerns them.
Yeah, I know. And I'm getting ready to point out someone else in the audience and to ask a question, and I'm gonna go with Minister Imhotep. What we gonna ask him? Now, I know y'all been knowing him for a long time, and I basically just met him. But when I first heard him do the sermons, and I don't know if y'all call them sermons, but when I first heard him speak and talk and all of that, he pulls books out of here like it's nothing, so I want to know, how did you get your brain to, I know you don't know that answer, but anyway, when did you realize that you retain all of that and you could just, how at what age did you know that you knew that gift you had? Because that is a gift.
Well, I grew up in West Oakland. It's the home of the Black Panthers. And I first got interested in Egyptology when I was 12. I've been studying this since I was 12. I used to memorize Richard Pryor albums. I memorized Craft, That Nigger's Crazy, all of those things. And I would entertain my friends, so I was on the track team and the basketball team. I would recite those on the bus to the games and stuff, and then in 1977, I heard Dr. Ben for the first time. And so I switched from Richard Pryor to Dr. Ben. And I started memorizing Dr. Ben's messages. And, but I've always, I don't know, I've always been able to retain what I read. And, so I have a poem, and it's not one of mine, but it's one of my favorites. And it's by Muta Baruka. And we almost got a chance to play him on Wednesday, but I was trying to keep things timely. We had a couple of more poems to play, but I wanted to keep things timely. And this one's called Would You? When I speak, do you feel weak? When you hear my thoughts, do you feel caught in the web of hopelessness? When I say black, Do you feel it's an attack or lack of understanding on my part, or just wrath coming from me? Do you see me as a threat to your safety? When I say whitey, do you consider that bigotry? If I say I care not about politics, would you consider me an anarchist? If I say no to religion, would that be my misconception of what you think of me? Do you see what I mean? If I said I didn't smoke or take coke, would you take it for a joke and cry and wonder why I told such a lie? Are you upset about my poems sometimes and make you fret about things of the future? Would you call me a brute if I wore a suit or said I was cute? Do you think I would be a better writer if my poems were lighter, spoke more about nature or some adventure that gave me pleasure? Would you love me more if I spoke less about the poor and talked about the woman I adore? Now, after listening to this, are you looking for another twist or just another rhyme in the next line? The solutions that you seek will not be in the streak of a pen or even 10 line of mine. The problems are the same, but don't blame me because I see that part of reality that stains and pains the heart. I came into this life with neither guns or knives. I made no laws with all its flaws about black and white and about what's wrong and what's right. I speak, I write, I see of men holding men in slavery, of color, class, and creed, of lust, envy, and greed. So don't blame me if when I speak, you do feel weak. Now, I did not create AIDS. Tell me this, would you accuse me of causing a riot if I was quiet? Would you?
That's Muta. Love him.
One more. I don't have a color problem. I see everything in black. When I walk at night, I don't see no near light. And at Christmas, nothing for me turn white. I see everything in black. Black dungeons holding black bodies to be sold for a price. Yet, I don't have a color problem. Bad luck keep passing my way by way of a black cat. So I write a letter and blackmailed it. Got blacklisted for speaking out about the dark continent. My mind like a sponge absorbing, yet like a mirror reflecting. The rain clouds have colored the rainbow. I am the black sheep in my family. Yet, I don't have a color problem. I remember them used to tell me that black is not a color. Color is not black. Nat Cole was black. Black makes sense. Black make no sense. No sense thinking about black, about making. I just have a blackout.
Well done, Minister. Well done.
I like that. Excellent, most excellent,
Yes.
most excellent. So,
Minister
go ahead.
Imhotep, do you remember Cagney and Lacey on television from
Yeah.
the 70s?
Yeah.
One of the cops was doing I was flipping channels. One of the cops was doing one of your exercises where you put your hand and forefinger. They did that back in the 70s. I just wanted you to know that.
You know, I first came into the knowledge of that when I was in the Stones of Fire. We used to train with this guy. He came to Wose. His name was Roland Merritt, and I think we did the first jazzercise class, and because we would meet like Saturday mornings at the Alameda Racquetball Club,
Right.
and we would do this kind of exercise dance thing to all of the songs on Michael Jackson's you know, the one that Billie Jean and all of that.
Off the wall.
Off the Wall. We would dance to every song. I know every note of that song. And one day, so one of Roland's friends named Pines showed us how to do pranayama, you know, and so I learned how to do that in the 80s. That was something, but it's a very complete exercise. If you did that every day, you would notice a lot of benefits from it. I wanted to say that you, Kalahari, had mentioned Dr. Khalid Abdullah Tariq El Mansour, and I used to go to the Afro-American Association. I used to go there. It was on 4209 Grove Street, which is now Martin Luther King Boulevard. And I used to listen to Khalid every Sunday. He first started coming on Saturdays on KDIA. And then Jalea, I wanted to say, was in my sister's daycare. She was one of the students in my sister's daycare. So I know she would be really proud and pleased to see her now. Now a teenager. It doesn't seem like it's been that long.
Well,
Jalea and
thank you.
Fania look alike.
Yeah,
Yes,
they do.
Doris, when you were talking about Nikki Giovanni, when what's the lady's name that died who wrote The Cage Bird Sings?
Maya
Angelou.
Okay, Nikki Giovanni didn't know Maya Angelou, and she went to her. This is what Nikki Giovanni said about Maya Angelou when she died. And Nikki Giovanni went to Maya Angelou's office and wanted to see her, and more or less waited until Maya Angelou eventually came out there and spoke to her and talked to her. She introduced herself. That was a little story about Maya Angelou after she died on KPFA, on Democracy Now! And I wanted to make a comment about what's this brother's name? Let me see. Well, that's all right. Let me look this up and I'll get right back to you.
Yeah, that is just fine. Yes, Maya Angelou. Yeah, I hate I missed her. I had just missed her maybe a couple of months or so, or maybe 6 months or so before she died. She came through. She had a tour, and she was right here in Norfolk, and I missed her, and I was just, oh man, it just hurt my heart. And the next thing I know is I heard that she had joined our ancestors. But anyway, let's see. I got one more person, and then we're gonna go back to I can't remember anybody's name, but anyway, we're gonna go back to Minister Hotep's Imhotep's guy. But anyway, let's see. I'd like to ask, and I want to say her name correctly, so I may need help. Is it Akanke? Did I say it right? Sister Akanke, yes. Look at you. How are you this afternoon? Good, good. Now I wanted to ask you, how do you keep your hair so neat?
Oh my goodness. This is this is really my second set of hair that I will say, my second growth of hair. From chemotherapy, I actually lost all my hair, and this is my second set, and it actually used to sit on top of my father's head. When my hair grew back, I was like, oh, this is my father's hair. But, it's just right at this point, it's slow growing, and I don't do anything special, just kind of, you're on mute too, by the way.
Yeah, okay, okay, here I am.
Yeah.
So you don't do anything special?
No, not really, just, I keep saying I'm going to do something, but I don't.
It's always neat.
Just
That's
kind of
what-
get
and-
up in the morning and do one of these numbers
and keep it going.
Yeah.
Keep it going. I had just cut off my dreads. I've had dreads since 1996,
Wow.
7,
Wow.
and they've grown to my buttocks twice, and I've gotten them cut twice. And now that I was getting older, I was wrestling on, well, what am I gonna do with this stuff? Because I just can't do anything with it. So when I sat in my hairstylist chair about 2-3 weeks ago, I said, just cut it off. She couldn't believe it. As you mentioned, you said your father's hair, your dad's hair. As she was cutting my hair, my dad has always had salt and pepper hair. Even as a young boy, he always had the gray hair. But as she was cutting it, that's what came in my spirit was my dad. And that his hair and the texture of his hair, my hair feels just like his. And I never thought it would feel like that because he had the soft, curly curls. And I'm like, man, I'm just loving this. I'm just loving this.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to have locks. I had locks for many, many years, and
Yes,
I cut them off before they fell out. I didn't want
I got you.
that trauma.
Yeah.
Well,
But
some of mine were falling out and had nothing. It had to do with. I mean, I'm serious, and I was thinning and all of that. And I'm going, you know what? Just cut it off. So
And it's
I've never
good.
had to cut this short, and I'm
Yeah.
comfortable with it, and I'm
You
loving
look,
it.
it looks
Yeah.
good.
I like it. I like those shortcuts on all the sisters. I'm
I
loving
Do
it.
you really?
Good.
And you know
Yeah.
what? And most brothers like hair. A lot of
Yeah,
brothers
that's what I
like,
hear.
give me
You know,
hair.
one of the
me.
things I found about, sometimes I wonder, I think that it's kind of like programming because, women look extremely beautiful when their hair is cut very short, just as, well, whatever way their hair is. But I remember once this guy, because I wore my hair very, very, very almost bald for a number of years. And this man came up to me. I was at a wedding reception or something, and we had really nice conversation. And he said, wow, if you would only let your hair grow, and I was like, oh, my friend went, oh Lord.
Oh, she did.
But I said, so I asked him, I said, first of all, why do you come over here to me? All these women around here with hair, why did you come to me? You came to me because you're attracted, and then don't be afraid because you've been told that a woman is supposed to, have long hair, or because he said, let your hair grow and blow in the wind. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you one little piece of history. Black women's hair don't blow in the wind too well, And so, I think that men, like women with short hair. I think that they find it attractive. But I think just like us, some of us have, were programmed to think
Right.
that women had to have their hair long. Like my father used to tell me, you'll never get a man with your hair like that. It says in the Bible that the woman's hair is her glory.
Yes, it
I
does.
said, but did it say the length of her hair, Daddy? I think because you know what I'm saying. So it's this whole
Right.
long, because when I've been having my hair natural since I was 12, so I've been teased for a long time because that was not the norm.
So, yeah, that
Yeah.
was great. That is just absolutely fantastic. All right, Minister Imhotep, you're gonna introduce your guy again.
Okay, his name is Dr. Tashaka
Oh,
Muhammad.
Shaka.
Muhammad, and
I'll try to remember that.
so I'm reading from his book. Dr. Tashaka Muhammad is a well-known educational entertainer. He is a creative performer who has taken the lessons handed down in his family and turned them into pearls of wisdom that he passes on to others through his entertaining format. He has performed all over the country on television and radio and at countless education and community events. Dr. Muhammad was also the manager of REACH, Recruitment, Education, Awareness, Culture, and Health Project, a program he created for the California Office of Statewide Health Planning and Development. REACH helped guide youth, especially minorities, toward the currently understaffed allied health professionals. But his actual interactions with students extend far beyond selling the healthcare professions. His goal is to help students build self-esteem, cultural pride, and cultural sensitivity to others through storytelling, rap, and other techniques. During his 33-year career as a health educator, community activist, and organizer, he has developed innovative, culturally competent community educational plans, served as the assistant to the Federal Administrator of Community Health Education for the Center for Disease Control, and used the spoken word to educate while entertaining thousands of hard-to-reach children and their families. Dr. Muhammad is the founding member of the Sacramento Birthing Project, a nationally recognized maternal and child health project. Dr. Muhammad received his Bachelor's of Arts from San Francisco State, Master's in Community School Education at California State University, Sacramento, and his doctorate in metaphysics at the Metaphysical Institute in St. Louis, Missouri. For more information or to be added to his mailing list, please contact him at area code 916-424-9669. Sisters and brothers, Dr. Tashaka Muhammad. Sister Darnisha, can you? Thank you. Uh-oh, you must be muted.
I've
There it is.
Okay. I'm a former Marine. I've traveled in other countries, lived in other cultures. I've lived in a palace, made love in a shack. And I want to tell you that I love America, just like America loves me. I've seen our slavery face, humanity's disgrace, in separate but unequal space. Got me singing an irrational anthem instead of the Black national anthem. This country is not of me, this land of bigotry. Of thee I sing. Land where the pilgrims lied, land where my forefathers died. Now you take your slaves inside. What cruelness your equality brings. Homelessness throughout the land does control growth and booster shots fit your plan. We all trespass on the land of the red man. Of thee I sing. You go to a baseball game and pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic for which it stands, never to a democracy and equality of each man. And what the hell does that have to do with a baseball game? I love America, just like America loves me.
Ashe.
Ashe indeed.
Dr. Tashaka Muhammad, excellent poetry this afternoon. Anything you want to say in closing?
No, My Tongue, volumes 1 and volumes 2. Volume 1 is kind of put together so that adults and youth can share in the spoken word. Volume 2 is primarily for younger generation. It's more of the hip hop, kind of spoken word. Dedication here to my grandmother, Ethel Coulter, who was taught me many things. She was a lady with a 3rd grade formal education and a PhD in life. She was 102 years old when she died here in Sacramento. And she used to say, baby, what you learned today? She said, tell grandma what you learned. And if my brother would say nothing, she'd say, go to your room. You don't need to eat grandma and grandpa's food if you spent 8 hours of your life, baby, and didn't learn nothing. You can't get that back. And they were very heavy on learning and reading and education. My grandfather told me once, he said, boy, he said, I like it. He said, you read to me, read them stories. And he said, because used to be a time when the colored folks, they used to hang us if we knew how to read. So he said, I want you to read everything. He said, he said, I don't care what it is, read some toilet paper with something written on it. Might be something to help you on your way. So that was, my interest. I love to read everything, and that's what I encourage other people to do, because that's how they use words to brainwash and subterfuge. It's like you ask the average person what language they speak here, and they'll say English. But it's only by one vote that the official language in this country is not German. And it's based on German, French, and Latin. When you say good morning, that's from the German, Guten Morgen. When you sneeze, you say Gesundheit, God bless you, in German. The song America the Beautiful is the German national anthem, Deutschland über alles. And language is changing. It's changing with this generation and the generations to come. I guess it started with JFK, because now it's, everything is in acronyms. So if I was to introduce myself, I would say, hi, my name is TM, and I went to UCLA. I'm going to go to work for IBM when I move to LA.
I love Shaka wisdom. Give thanks and praise. Give thanks for sharing with us, and looking forward to seeing you real soon.
All right.
Ashe.
Yeah.
Ashe.
The wisdom of our
Wow.
elders coming through.
Yes, that was fantastic. That was great. Man, I have enjoyed every minute of everybody. Yeah, I've learned some stuff too. Let's see. I said that was gonna be the last one. I think I haven't talked to a couple of more people. Okay, Minister Alicia, I see you over there. I don't see you. I don't see you. Are you there?
I'm here.
Are you there? Okay, let me
I
see.
am here.
You're right in there. Oh, there you are. Oh man, how
I'm
you
at my
doing?
mom's house.
Oh, you're at mom's
There
house.
she is.
Okay. Let's see what I wanted to ask you. How long have you been teaching your children Swahili? And give me some pointers, because I want to teach these kids some Swahili here.
I think I started when I want to say when Akhenaten was born. Around that time, I started getting interested. So he's 18 now, so it's been quite some time.
Wow.
And I'm not like, my activity has gone up and down throughout those years in teaching. Like at one time when Sabatisa was about 5, she's now 11, was when I was really, really pressing hard on the Swahili. And I had on languages in general, and I had her like speaking I had her learning all her numbers in like 6 or 7 different languages. We were just having a great time doing that. And basically what I do is I try to learn it myself, and then what I learn, I just talk to them in it. I will say like Injuhapa. And it's like the words that I would say would be like, come here, different things that I would be talking to them that if somebody else was listening, only my kids would know what it was we were saying, and it would just be some short words, short commands, numbers. We were really big on learning numbers, like in every language We were trying out for so long, and just short things that were things that I would say to them daily. So I wouldn't try to have them, learn a whole bunch of food or a whole bunch of like different conjugational whatever, but it was like stuff that I would say to them. Like if you were saying working in Spanish, you'd say siéntate, like sit down. Like these are things that you would say normally to kids daily. So then they would get that renewal every single day. It's like, oh, this is what mom said. This is what mom's saying, and they would be able to have easy answers to come back, asante, asante sana, those type of things. And Kwanzaa really helps. Like it really, really does. Because those are, those words that they learn are Swahili. So, especially around Kwanzaa time, we are learning much more. Now, if you ask them, they will not know nothing all of a sudden. But they're like that with everything. They all of a sudden won't know anything. They don't like to be put on the spot.
Yeah, they go, what you talking about, Willis?
They'll be like, I don't know. What you mean Swahili? What's that? What,
Kids they learn that at an early age. They do something at home and they're walking and you stand them up. They look, I ain't walking.
Yeah, like I'm gonna sit right back down.
Well, Minister Alicia, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm gonna pick up on that you everyday things is what I need to teach them. All right. Let's see.
Doris.
Yes.
Any comment from anybody about this lady? She's on TikTok. She says that Russia is the only country that has never had slavery, black slaves. Anybody know any different? A good comment?
That is true. I was talking to a friend, and he, I know him from the All African People's Revolutionary Party, and he was somebody that is a friend actually with Baba Sidney and Minister Malley. They went to Cal together, and he had posted something about that on Facebook, and I commented, and I said, neither one of them is any good. You know what I mean? It really, I mean, look at those people. They are dropping bombs on their really relatives.
Yeah.
And I was kind of on the side of the Ukrainians until I saw them drag them brothers off the bus and crowds was beating them. So then that's when they lost my support.
Same here. Here.
And neither one of them is any good, really.
Not for us. Definitely not for us.
And for the rest of the world,
Right, that's true.
They may not have had slaves, but the type of horror and violence that they've injected into the world community with the bombing and the killing, the indiscriminate killing, it's just unacceptable, whether they had slaves or not. It's just, they're not good people.
Is it true though also that probably the same TikTok video that they also are the only like major world power that did not participate in, was it the carving up of Africa? What was the
Berlin Conference?
Yeah, they weren't part of that. No, they were not. So there's two conferences. There's the Berlin Conference in 1884, and then there's the Brussels Conference in 1886. And one of the main participants of that was King Leopold of
Belgium.
Belgium. Yes, and there's a book. What's the famous historian from the 1800s? Wrote.
No, wouldn't be J. Rogers.
No. This is a white. This is a white writer. White hair, mustache. Wrote
You're not talking Mark Twain, a novelist.
I'm talking Mark Twain.
Okay.
Mark Twain wrote a book called King Leopold's Soliloquy. King Leopold's Soliloquy, in which he brings out all that truth about King Leopold. And then there's another book that was written about maybe 15 years ago now, and it's called King Leopold's Ghost. And I forget the author of that. But yes, that's true about Russia. They didn't participate in that. And then there's also a lot of history surrounding Black Russians. And if you look in the ancient icons of Russia, you'll see Black Holy Family, Black angels, and you'll see all these pictures. And so my question is, what happened to all those Black people?
Yeah, they were probably absorbed, but how did they get there?
You know,
I mean, Russia's a very cold place.
You know, we're all over the world, and
Black don't absorb very well.
And you can go to China, you can go to Japan, certainly you can go to India, you can go to Vietnam and Cambodia, and you will find Philippines, yes, and you will find Black, I mean, ancient things. You know, and my question is, what happened to those people? Were they absorbed or were they killed?
Yeah, I've never thought about that, Minister Imhotep. That's an intriguing question that I have never, we have to drink the Black Russian. And I hear you, Baba Katobazi, saying, okay, absorb, but this type of chocolate don't absorb well.
You're muted, Kat. You're muted.
I think in about 2 generations, maybe 3, if you have a biracial person that is paired with another white person, and the descendant of that coupling with another white person, it would be indistinguishable to determine any Africanness. You may have to do a DNA test, but it can happen in about 3 generations.
Yeah, you're right.
That
It
is true.
could.
That
Genetics,
makes sense as well.
where they do genetics, you're right. If they keep reproducing with someone white, you're right. They'll wipe it out.
And taking the lightest, if you take the 2 lightest and you keep
right.
Yeah, that's
and it's happening right here.
It is.
If you look around, hey, it's happening.
Look at what Malcolm says. He says if you have coffee, which is black, and then you put cream, he said you could put so much cream that you could forget that you ever had coffee. So just think about this. Hebrews of the Jewish religion went into Europe, and then after 200 generations of being there, you don't really see the African features. Some of them still retain crinkly hair, but so that's just genetics, and really we're all human beings. Okay, I like Runoko Rashidi's. Comment, and he says, "We go from snow to crow." And that can happen without the presence of any European or white person. Were you going to say something, Mama Fania? Did you have a comment? Oh. Darnisha, I'm sending you something. It's a flyer for tomorrow. I'm hoping that you'll be able to grab it and
post it. I had to go ahead and post it.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead and post it, and you said post it for us so we can see it.
Yes, and then grab it and put it, you know, use it for advertisement, because we want to have a lot of people tomorrow. And, you know, give thanks for Mariana for that great video that she made.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Did a good
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
she did an excellent job. You know, and then she just, you know, she's really kind of like a lioness, you know, when she's out in the public. But because I've known her since she was a little girl, and she calls me a big uncle, you know, she turns into that little girl when I talk to her still, you know. So anyway, she's
Right.
very modest when she did the video, but I mean, she did a top
She
rank.
did. She
Yeah.
did. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to call on
Minister
Sister.
I'm sorry,
ahead.
just quick question, Minister Imhotep. I have 4 flyers here. Are they all the same? Or are they different? Or do I need to put them all in C?
I'm looking at that one that says word, sound, have power, spoken word. And it has our Zoom information and the password.
That is, but I'm saying there's 4 of them. I guess they're all, I don't want to get in trouble for putting the wrong one up is what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to get in trouble. Anyway, just any of the ones with white letters, I think are better. I was really letting him make a choice, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Any
just
one
put
of these,
that,
just check any one.
Just put that first one in. Yeah, yeah, that's good. Thank you, Sister Judy. So Sugar D, Sister Judy, they're really growing in their ability to produce flyers now. It's really and this
Judy
one,
got it. Judy has it going on though. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I don't like this one. I started with a whole nother one and it just so well. It's a work in progress.
You know what? That's the way it happens. You know, you start out with something and it's not what you thought, but you know what? Other people don't really notice that.
They don't.
I didn't.
You know, sometimes
Yeah.
we're our strongest critic. You know,
Our own worst critic, right?
Yeah.
But as a matter of fact, I was gonna call on Sister Judy next, so she could share something with us. I don't know if you guys noticed, but ever since I met her, Sister Judy know a lot of people, doesn't she? And she know a lot of important people. I mean, people that, you know, that are well-versed, people that can bring a lot of a wealth of knowledge, a whole lot of people that know a wealth of knowledge. So Judy, Sister Judy,
come forward.
are you a world traveler, or how did you get to know all these people?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you, thank you for your compliment and your kindness. I appreciate you greatly.
We want to see your face, Judy. Come on.
Unfortunately, I've been working on this flyer so hard, I didn't even have a chance. I'm still in pajamas. I've been in all day, kind of messing around. But anyway, next time, tomorrow, I'll be ready tomorrow for the event. But I am a people person. My parents were very much people persons. I'm from Tuskegee, Alabama, and of course, Doris and I both are Tuskegeans, attending Tuskegee University. My parents did as well, and they were both educators and teachers. And my mother just loved children, and always. And I'm an only child. I'm sure you all would never gather that. So because of that, and my father was very outgoing, my mother kind of more of a socialite, and my father more of a person that ran clubs, traveled. He was a high school history teacher. And so all of that, I'm saying that to say, I had some friendly, outgoing parents. So I really, really, really love people. So I just meet people. I really don't meet any strangers. And I know how to interact with people on all levels because I've experienced so many things. And I just, I'm very, very friendly and outgoing. And I guess you all can see I'm pretty assertive and aggressive with anywhere any place I go. And I'm just happy to be here at WOSE. And yeah, I'm trying to think what else I could say. I've worked, I have an organization called Tuskegee Seeds of Greatness. I'm the director and founder of that. We've been kind of a little bit on a hiatus. It seems like since I got into WOSE, I have been busier than ever with WOSE and just kind of focused on that a lot. But we're about to pick up. We had our president speak today, and we're focused on the preservation and the historical value of Tuskegee University, the city of Tuskegee and surrounding historical sites. So we work a lot with students, and our focus has been mostly working in support of the university. I have 8 board members, and all of them are natives of Tuskegee. Many of their parents attended Tuskegee, and some are alumnus of the university. And in the midst of that, I also have just worked in a lot of capacities. I was a former placement officer for 9 States for AmeriCorps and VISTA, and have worked in early childhood and childhood as pre-K teachers. I really love children, and I love teaching and love teenagers as well. So that's some of the things that I do want to do with WOSE. And with that, I'm not going to do a whole background about that. I thank you so much, and I'm glad to be here.
All right, all right.
Well, you're just out there. I mean, you know everybody. Now, I want to make sure I pronounce this name correctly. Is it, I want to say Fanya, but I thought he said Fanya. So which one?
Fanya.
Fanya. But even
Fanya.
though, yeah, we want to put that fan thing going on.
No, no fan.
I know, I see. I caught it.
I get Fanya. I've gotten Fanta, Fonda, and Fiona. I don't know how you get Fiona out of Fonda.
I don't know how you get Fiona out of that either.
I don't either.
So you know what? I was going to ask you about your name, actually. You know, does it mean something? And is something your parents gave you? Is that another given name, or because that's a different name to me?
Okay, it's a name that was given to me actually by Obitashaka. I'm part of an organization I joined in 1971. It was originally called the Afro-American Institute, and then the name was changed to, turn this off, Pan-African People's Organization. And it was located in San Francisco in the Western Addition. And I learned about it when I was in college. And so once you join the organization, you go through an orientation process. And at the end of the orientation process, if you didn't have an African name, you could take on an African name. And so Obitashaka, after doing, I think he did my chart, astrological chart. And so he came up with this name, and I liked it. And so the full name is Fanya Ka Makini. Fanya means to do, Ka is spirit, and Makini is kind. So not in a literal interpretation, my name means one who behaves in a kind and gentle manner. And so I've had the name since 1971. And 99.9% of my family, got on board with the name. There was one aunt who didn't. She said, my mom gave me the name that I was given at birth, and that's my name.
Yeah.
And I have family members now who still, call me by my birth name, and I have no problems with that because I have not legally changed my name. Because I have sentimental reasons, with my birth name. I have my mother's first name is my middle name, and it's an unusual name. It's Zereldia, and that's German. I haven't found the meaning yet. And looking up Zereldia, it's an old name, and it was more popular back in like the late 1800s, early to mid 1900s. My mom was born in 1925. So I don't want to lose that name. And then my last name is my dad's name, my birth name. So I don't want to, part with that either. So I have not legally changed my name. And Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's the story behind my name.
That's fantastic. I was
Yeah.
just wondering. So it's not Fanya, it's Fanya. I
Fanya.
got it. I would not mess that up.
And
Now,
Mama Fanaya, my phone calls you Mama Fanaya.
Oh,
Okay, I say, call Mama,
that's a new
I
one.
say, call
Fanaya.
Fanya, calling Mama Fanaya.
Anaya. Isn't that something? Isn't that
Well, that
something?
name fits, Sister Fanya. If you're
It
around here,
does, the
it,
meaning and
it's very
everything.
fitting.
It
Mm,
does.
thank
Isn't
you.
that something? How
Yes.
the universe works like that. Isn't that something?
Right.
All right, let's see. I haven't heard from Bill. Bill, are you there?
It's gonna be-
MIT Bill.
I'll speak up for Bill. I spoke with him
No
earlier.
problem.
He
There
had
Oh,
a,
he
there
is.
he is.
oh, there he is.
MIT Bill. I know we don't see you, but I have a question for you because I noticed your email address or something like that. It had engineering and something else in it. What was it? What is it? And I was going to ask you, were you an ME or EE?
EE, of course.
Well,
We're
why had to be of course?
unity,
Which
right?
means what? Something
Electrical
engineer.
engineer. Electrical
Electrical.
engineer
Oh,
or
got it.
mechanical engineer.
Oh, got it. Oh, learned something today.
So
But
what
they
do you do with your engineering, Bill, MIT Bill?
pull out my hair mostly. Try to make machines pretend that they are capable of doing things that humans want. And frequently humans forget that these things actually are quite complicated. And it takes a lot of ones and zeros to get any stupid machine to do anything that even seems reasonable around humans.
Mm.
So mostly that's what I do. Until recently, until I sort of looked around and realized that, oh, that communications thing I was doing before, that's a bit more important than I really understood at first. So I'm trying to focus on that now.
Okay. I was just wondering, I saw that in your name and I said, I wonder if he's an ME or an EE. So I wanted to ask about that. So
I
did you
didn't
enjoy?
make it.
Go
I
ahead.
didn't make it to Tuskegee yet, but I'm working on that.
Okay. Well, come on. We always can use anybody, all of us. But okay, and my last person, and I wanted to ask all of you something. Y'all noticed something that I was doing while we were having our whole thing, and I want to make sure. I just want to know. But before, I still want to talk to Sister Darnisha. I have a question for her. Sister Darnisha,
Yes, ma'am.
your trip is coming up. You're going to Africa, and you've been to Africa before. And I understand you used to do tour guides or take other people as well. Am I correct?
I have done that a few times.
Have you done that a few times? Could you elaborate on where you take them? Where do you go actually?
Well, we go to all the basic, Ghana tourist place like the W.E.B. Du Bois Museum, the Black Star Square. We go to the hanging canopy walk in the Cape Coast area. Of course, everyone who comes to Ghana goes to the UNESCO World Heritage Sites, which those people call them castles, but I've learned to refer to them as the dungeons. So there's huge dungeons at Cape Coast and Elmina. The property that I have is actually situated kind of right in the center of those two places. And my favorite place, we go up to Kumasi, see the great markets and the weaving and the kente and all of that. But my favorite place is Cape Coast, which is almost like being in Oakland. When I was there last, I went to a house party for someone's birthday, and I thought I was at Oakland. There were so many people from Oakland that said, I came for a couple of weeks and I've been here for like a year now. And,
Oh, I love those stories.
so lots of
Wow.
stories. I heard many, many stories like that. And I like Cape Coast so much because I think that maybe perhaps as much as I work and move around, I think that maybe I'm really a beach bum at heart. So
I heard that.
yeah, I
I
really
heard
love that scene behind me.
Yes.
I love sitting on that, with the,
Wow.
something cool in my hand and a book. That is like my favorite thing in Ghana, just sitting at a place like right there on that beach there and doing absolutely nothing.
Now, if I had to look at that picture without looking at the roof of the house or the hut, I would think you were in California somewhere with the trees, you know. I was like, wow, you know. But that's what I would think until, you know, Baba Kalabasi said, no, no, I see those trees back there. I see the beach. I see that house, you know, the
Yeah,
roof
it
of
would
the
have to be
house.
the Caribbean or Africa, someplace like that.
Right, right. That was good.
Now,
So
Brother Rudy is in Kumasi, isn't he? Isn't that where Brother Rudy is?
I believe so. He's still here right now. He's going to return, and I really can't remember where he lives in Ghana.
I think I saw a couple of his posts, and he mentioned that here in Kumasi, where I live, that he was kind of moving around and taking some shots, and seems like he's acclimating pretty well over there. And you know, we still got Sister Danisha here for a while. We might eventually lose her.
and we can always go visit. You know what I'm saying? We have somewhere to
Yes.
visit.
Yeah.
Somebody to visit.
Yeah.
My dream is to be coming back and forth. You know, you need this. You got to take that American money to Africa.
That's
It's no fun
right.
in Africa with African money.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right about that. You're right about
Yeah.
that. Now, before we close, I just wanted to know, did anybody notice what I was doing while y'all were doing? Jalea did. What, Jalea? What was I doing?
Changing glasses.
Changing glasses. Did y'all notice that?
I did not. Now look at Jalea. She
Yeah.
picked right
Let me
up
show
on
you.
that.
I came out with first, you know, these are my normal glasses, and I came out with these. Now, these are not glasses. These are all shade stuff. Then I came out with these.
Oh, you are slick. Oh, you slick.
Wow.
And then I came
Jalea to
out.
pick up on that.
Then I came out with these.
Stuck all that in on us.
Really?
Oh, nah.
Jalea
Gee,
was
were we-
paying attention. Hey, if I had a prize to give you, you would have won that prize, girl. I'm here to tell you, you're very observant. Everybody need to be very observant. You need to
Yeah,
make
I
sure
Yep.
and look around. You don't care if you are on Zoom. You need to know your surroundings. You need to know your
It's true.
Have we asked questions of everybody, Doris? Because if so, I'd like to ask you a question.
No, we can't ask. No, I think we have. I think I got everybody. But wait a minute. Baba Kalahari, you had a question?
Doris, what I suggest is that one time we do it Eastern hours, and one time we do it Pacific time. That way, you know, everybody will get, you know, to be seen. I don't know. What do you think?
You know what?
Um,
I get to stay up late. You trying to stop me from staying up late, aren't you? I'm just kidding. We'll think about that. We even thought about, you know, sometimes doing it on a Saturday, you know, so that everybody, you know, earlier or something like that. But thank you so much. We would definitely throw that in there and see how we can make that work. So, Sister Danisha, we're gonna get ready to close. You had a question?
So you mentioned that you have a job that you work on Fridays, which I understand you kind of you play hooky on First Fridays to hang with us. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
I do. Yes, I
But
do.
it sounds very exciting, that job. I have a vision of you with like the three women who made the rockets go. Like, what do you do at NASA?
Well, at this NASA Research Center, all I do is watch systems. I watch systems from a remote area, and then I also have to go out and do different checks on different systems. The research center that I'm on, that I work, this is where they have wind tunnels, and they put the cars and NASCARs in there, and they put airplanes, and then they drop the helicopters from this tall thing, and they measure all of that stuff. It's a research center, so they do a lot of research and stuff like that. They just put up Artemis, I believe, as not too long ago. They flew Artemis up, and part of that was made there at the NASA Langley Research Center, and that is also where I'm trying to think of her name, and they named the building, the Williams, the lady that was on,
Hidden Colors.
Hidden Colors, yeah, that's
not
that's
Hidden
where I
Colors.
worked.
Oh,
Out there
right.
where all of that took place.
Oh,
Catherine, yes, that's
Catherine Johnson.
yes. I used to be full-time, and then and of course they had to get rid of some people, and I was one of the ones. Of course, I used to talk a lot of trash to them too, so I kind of knew that eventually they were going to get me, but it's okay, because I used to challenge them all the time. But I also used to work at NASA, Kennedy Space Center, and Cape Canaveral Air Station, and I was the first of a lot of things. I was the first Black industrial hygienist there. I was the first Black manager that they had there. And does everybody know what an industrial hygienist is? It is a study. Go ahead, Minister.
I said, please tell us.
An industrial hygienist works in occupational health. And we do things like noise studies, and we do asbestos, lead, we do illumination studies and ergonomics and all that stuff. So I was basically the first of the first, because when they were looking for a position, I used to work for this nonprofit that what we did was get people jobs, and we were basically focused on African American people. So my boss came in one day and said, I bet you'd fit this job. And I was fresh out of Tuskegee and everything, and I had worked for the sheriff department and all that. That was another story. I was the first on a lot of that too. But anyway, I ended up going for the interview, but they wanted a Black person. So I was the first of everything. I got a chance to meet Jameson. And if you ever heard of Joan Higginbotham, she was my sorority sister. She was also an astronaut. She went up one time and she didn't go up anymore, you guys. She gave it up. I don't know what happened, but she didn't like it.
And what is Artemis? What is Artemis? And don't tell us anything that's gonna make them have to come get us.
No, another satellite that's up there, you know, taking pictures of stuff, and it's amazing how many satellites are actually looking at the weather above and below the ocean and all of that. It's just unreal. But I got a chance to deal with the shuttle. I got a chance to get to see the Hubble telescope before it went up. I used to be part of the Titan missile launches and things like that. We used to have to go back in and do toxic vapor checks when the shuttle blew up. I was part of going on the Cuddy to go and recover the shuttle pieces and parts and things like that. I was also part of whenever they buried it in the silo, of being put down in the silo to do what we call confined space entry checks. It's all about occupational things like, you know, like I said, noise studies and that kind of thing. I did a noise study in the shrubs for the jaybirds because it was a wildlife refuge. I did a lot of things that were just, you know, just out of this world for me. And like I say, when the shuttle blew up, I was part of that. I got a chance to see I was there for the first shuttle. I was no longer in the space program for the last shuttle, but guess what? The universe just loves me, and I just love the universe. So what happened was I got to be the star employee of my company, and they sent me to see the last shuttle launch. So I got to see the first one, and many in between that and the last. So
that was even more exciting than I expected. You're gonna have to tell
Yes,
me more.
indeed.
You got some stories. I need to hear some more. That it's a whole sheriff part back there next Friday.
Yeah. And my dad was a cop, so and I worked for the sheriff department, so that was something.
Wow.
But anyway, that was it. But anyway, we're ready to close. I thank each and every one of you for joining us, and I want y'all to go back and tell them what fun we had, because we had a good time. Yes,
we
Minister.
did.
Just two things before we go. The flyer for tomorrow, and I sent a note to Mama Darnisha. I don't know if she saw it, but if she could play Mariana's video before, to close us out.
Yes, I can.
All right.
Will we receive the flyer through email?
You know what? I just got it. I'm going to post it and send it I'll send it email, I'll send it text.
Okay. Email.
If you're part of WOW, the WOW, you know, the Women of WOSAY, also, they should have, I sent it to Celeste, Sister Celeste also, for her to put it out there. So
Okay.
hopefully you'll get it in more than one way.
Okay.
All right. Give thanks.
Real
Absolutely
nice.
fantastic.
Beautiful.
That was
Minister Imhotep,
bravo.
are we going to have Samoan poetry on tomorrow night?
Samoan.
Uh-huh. It says Tagalog spoken word.
Where's that? I didn't tag along.
That's Filipino.
Oh, I'm sorry. Filipino. Tagalog, that's Filipino?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we having that?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe we will. We'll see.
I don't know. It's on our flyer. I was just wondering.
It is. Okay.
It is. It says Tagalog spoken word poetry.
Okay.
I thought that was Samoans. I did not know. Excuse my poor knowledge of other cultures. So Tagalog is Filipino, not Samoan. I got that.
I tell you what,
They all ours. They all came from us, right?
yeah, they all did. Sister Fanya, she knows her stuff on when it comes down to stuff like that. I've been checking you out, Sister Fanya. I see you. I see you. But anyway, we're gonna close out with one of our most favorite, and we're gonna shut her down. And I really appreciate each and every one of you being here. I really do love poetry. I love it. I love it. I half write it, but I think I'm getting inspired tonight. So
All right. All
Good.
right.
how about that?
Yeah.
So,
And Brother
I want-
Kalahari.
Yes.
I'd like to see Brother Kalahari pick up
Definitely,
his pen.
definitely. And you know what, bro? Hey, Baba John, I'm looking for some more.
Brother John's already there.
I
I've
am
heard a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
of his
looking for some
poems. His
more.
poems go
You
deep.
should have been Saturday too. It was
Mhm.
phenomenal.
Mhm.
So just to close it out with one of the most heard of poems is Still I Rise. Because guess what? My people, we always rise regardless of what they throw our way.
That's right.
So you may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard? 'Cause I laugh like I've gotten gold mines, digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide, leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and hopes of the slave. I rise, we rise. Ashe, ashe.
Ashe. Beautiful, beautifully done.
Yeah, I
Well
love
done.
that. I love that poem.
Mhm.
So
That's one of my favorites.
Love us.
thank you so much, everybody. Like I said before, I don't know what's gonna happen on next First Friday. I want to talk about some music stuff myself, but we'll see.
Oh, let's do that.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
great. The musical
Musicology.
instruments and
I love
all
the
of
invitations. All right.
that. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. But anyway,
Yeah.
thanks everybody. And
Oh.
I'm going to, anybody have
Let's-
anything else before I say anything? Anybody have anything
Wait,
else?
I have one more thing. Let's remind everybody that on Wednesday, Black Knowledge Matters, we've got Rick Mathis, and that is going to be a treat. He has, I've shared some of his videos, but he's on YouTube. He did 2 films, Black Fridays, Black Friday 1 and Black Friday 2.
Right.
And there were several people in it, Professors James Small, Les Brown, quite a few different people. It's all dealing with circulating, the black
Black
dollar,
wealth.
circulating
Yeah.
wealth within the community. So he's got a new movie coming out called B1. So he'll be discussing all of that and his whole theory of, not theory, but supporting the concept of circulating wealth. So he is going to be there Wednesday. He's in Atlanta, and his new film will be with Boyce Watkins. He's doing it with Boyce. So it'll be, hope you guys join this day.
Okay.
All right.
And
I loved being with you all today.
yes,
Same here.
it's been very nice, very
Good seeing
insightful.
everyone.
Good seeing everybody. We found out some little subtleties, some little details about one another. It's all good.
Oh, good.
So a lot of
You all
fun.
did a great job.
Mhm.
Right. Thank you. And we're gonna do some more. So get ready. And
Good.
we can use some ideas too. So if you got any ideas on what
All
we
right.
can do, let's
Send them to
put it
Sugar
out
D.
there.
Oh, you know what I wanted to say? Somebody was mentioning the plants. In 1979, Stevie Wonder did this movie called Journey into Secret Life of Plants.
Plants.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
It is fantastic. It's a little documentary-ish, there's some parts, but it's time-lapse photography on plants choreographed to Stevie Wonder's music.
Wow.
They have a lot
Yes.
in, and you can search on YouTube and find it's called Journey into the Secret Life of Plants.
Plants.
I will do that. I will definitely do that. Okay. So you want to close us out? Anybody, you want to close us out? Minister Imhotep, and say bye, live it up, and and all the good stuff. I'm still learning.
This poem shall speak of the wretched seas that wash ships to these shores, of mothers crying for their young swallowed up by the sea. This poem shall say nothing new. This poem shall speak of time, time unlimited, time undefined. This poem shall call names like Lumumba, Kenyatta, Nkrumah, Hannibal, Akhenaten, Malcolm, Garvey, Haile Selassie. This poem is vexed about apartheid, racism, fascism, the Ku Klux Klan, riots in Brixton, Atlanta, Jim Jones. This poem is revolting against first world, second world, third world, division, man-made decision. This poem is like all the rest. This poem shall not be amongst great literary works. This poem shall not be recited by poetry enthusiasts. It shall not be quoted by politicians nor men of religion. This poem is guns, knives, bombs, blazing for freedom. This poem is a drum, Ashanti, Mau Mau, Igbo, Yoruba, Nyabingi warrior, Yahuru, Namibia, Yahuru Soweto, Yahuru Africa. This poem will not change things. This poem needs to be changed. This poem is the rebirth of a people, arising, awakening, understanding. This poem is speaking, have spoken. This poem shall continue even when poets have stopped writing. This poem shall survive you, me. It shall linger in history, in your mind, in time forever. This poem is time, only time will tell. This poem is still not written. This poem has no poet. This poem is just part of the story. His story, her story, our story, the story still untold. This poem is now ringing, talking, irritating you, making you want to stop it. But this poem will not stop. This poem is long, cannot be short, cannot be tamed, this cannot be blamed. The story is still not told about this poem. This poem was copied from your Bible, your prayer book, Playboy magazine, New York Times, Reader's Digest, the CIA file, the KGB file. This poem is no secret. This poem shall be called boring, stupid, senseless. This poem is watching you. This is trying to make sense of this poem. This poem shall not stop. You shall not stop listening to this poem. You shall be disappointed because this poem is to be continued in your mind, in your mind, in your mind, in your mind.
Wow.
That
Beautiful. Well done, Minister.
That's-
Well done.
Yes.
That's
Well,
by
Mutsa.
that's by Muta Baruka. Muta
Yeah,
Baruka.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
Great send off.
Nighty night.
Night,
Good
night.
night, everybody. Be
See you
safe.
later.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow
Thank you.
night.
See you tomorrow. See you
That's
tomorrow.